Hi you four, today I'm going to be talking to you about editing our writing. So this is a very important step when we do our letters and stories and all the other text that we write. We need to make sure that when we get to the end, we edit our work and make sure we have done the best possible piece of work we can do. So I'm going to go through our editing stations that we use at school, and these stations you can use at home as well to edit your work. If you would like me or Mrs. Wright to give you pointers on E1, E2 and E3 opportunities in your writing to mark and improve your work, then please feel free to email either of us with your writing and we will annotate it with those markers for you. So just a quick recap for those of you that may have forgotten or haven't seen this in a while. You have E1, E2 and E3 markers. So they represent different things in your work that you need to edit or improve. I'm going to go through these one by one with you now so you are clear on what you can do to your work to make it even better. Our first editing station is E1. Now, E1 is asking us to look at our spellings, making sure that we haven't made any spelling mistakes in our work. It's also asking us to look at words that we've used. Maybe we've added a word in that we don't need and we need to remove that word. Maybe you've read your sentence out loud and you realise it doesn't make sense. There's a word missing that you need to add in. This is an opportunity to do that. Finally, it's an opportunity to correct your punctuation. Do you have missing full stops? Have you used your question marks correctly? Have you got your inverted commas for your speech? All of these opportunities to correct punctuation, spelling, and the words you've used, you can do as part of your E1 editing station. Remember that if you send your work to me or Mrs. Wright, we are able to give you a number of E1s that we would like you to make. So it might tell you that you've got 15 E1s to correct. So that might tell you that you've got quite a lot of spelling mistakes we want you to find, a couple punctuation opportunities to improve, and maybe a word missing. You'll know if you've got all of those editing opportunities completed if you hit the number that we have given you. This one is going to be a little bit trickier at home if you haven't sent us your work, but this is our E2 station. It's asking you to reread some of your writing and then rewrite it with an improved version. So maybe you're using better language, maybe you've completely change your sentence around to just give it more sense to the story. Make sure that you've got a really cohesive story that you've written or letter that you have written. So with this one, it's going to be a bit tricky if you don't send us your work because you're not sure exactly which sentences or paragraphs that you need to rewrite and improve. But you need to trust your judgment as you are reading your text. If you think a certain sentence or paragraph doesn't sound quite right or doesn't sound as good as you think it could do, you can highlight this sentence yourself. You can take it upon yourself to improve that sentence or paragraph, knowing that you can do better. Looking at editing station E3 then, this is another one that might be slightly tricky for you to do if you haven't sent us your work for feedback. Because what we would do as teachers is put this symbol in your writing to identify somewhere where we'd like you to add extra information. So without us doing this, it's going to be hard to spot those places where extra information can be added. So if you send your work to us, we will happily draw these in and give you pointers of where you need to add extra information or words and really just tell you where you can improve. But if you don't send this to us and you are happy to work through this on your own, you could ask someone in your house to point out where they think you could add extra work or extra words, or you can read it yourself and again, trust your judgment. Do you think your description is as good as it possibly can be? Maybe you read your sentence back and think, I can add an extra adjective in here to describe. Or maybe I'm going to add an adverb in to say how I've done that, to really build on my writing. You are in charge of your writing. You are in charge of your editing. This is your opportunity to show us just how amazing you are by finding those editing opportunities and tweaking your work, making small adjustments to really just improve and show off how brilliant you are at English. So, once again, if you would like to send in your work to me or Mrs. Wright, we are waiting in our emails for any work to come through that we can mark and send back to you with our E1, E2 and E3 markers. If you want to do this on your own at home, please feel free. But again, send us your work afterwards. Let me see how your editing how you got on with that on your own. I would love to know. I hope that this has helped you and you are going to now improve your writing and be the best writers we have ever seen.